Welcome to The Sober Unicorn. We are a gay-hosted, all-inclusive podcast about sobriety and addiction recovery for the LGBT plus community and all of our allies. I am your host, Holden, and thank you for joining us today. Hey, everybody, it's Holden back here again with The Sober Unicorn. I hope everybody's having an absolutely incredible day, and if you're not, I do hope your day gets better. Today, we have a guest that I also met here in South Florida. The first time I ever met her, I was very standoffish. She's somebody that people tend to prejudge due to tattoos and appearance, but once you get to know her, is very humble, has a very open heart, is very kind to everybody around her. And also, today's episode is going to be slightly different. We normally focus on a topic, but today I want Renee to just kind of share her story, addiction, and into the hope and strength of recovery. So hello, everybody say hello to Renee. Hello, Renee.
Hey, what's up, family? My name's Renee, and I'm an addict. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I never knew that recovery even existed. I was a troubled child. Homeless as a child. My parents were born to the disease of addiction. I was a self-mutilator, psych ward attendee for many years, and I never made it to 8th grade. I was expelled from all South Florida schools, Broward County especially. I just was not allowed back in, and I roamed the streets, and I had a co-defendant. I was like my boyfriend, whatever. And let me tell you, I was born in the dark, so I didn't understand the light, right? So it was okay to be searching for food, for mangoes, to eat. It was okay for all these things. It was okay to have someone almost murder me and want to become a stripper to bond them out before I even put a drug in my body. It was okay to have open heart surgery due to IV drug use. It was okay. It was all right. It was okay that my parents couldn't get it together because I wasn't getting it together either. It was okay that I lived and used to live. It was okay that I was getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. It's fine. It was fine that my friends tried to drag my body while I was still breathing, while my heart was failing and my organs were failing, to put me in a dumpster. It was okay, because I just wanted one more. And when I was on that metal slab, about to get heart surgery, it was okay, because I knew I was getting anesthesia. Turn up, bitch. You gonna give me that, dog. Like, I don't half step me, put me out. You know what I'm saying? And I was okay with that. I was okay living in a 4-block radius. No toenails, no shoes. Smelling like just shit running down my legs. Blood all over my body from my IV drug use. It was okay. Like, that was fine, I was introduced to a 12-step program because, the heart surgeon was like, look, dude, don't use. You're going to be all right. And I'm like, yeah, of course I'm not going to use. You just, sliced open my chest piece and put me back together with wire metal, holding my sternum together. I'm not going to use, dude. Just chill. We're going to be all right. And that's when I found out about using against my will. I didn't get clean with people. I didn't use with people that got clean. So I didn't know about getting clean. My parents never got clean for me. You know what I'm saying? So once I used after having open heart surgery, mitral valve replacement, because I had used until I did not have one, it was completely eaten away, I was introduced to a 12-step program, and I found freedom. And I found freedom for 2.5 years. Did I work any steps, truly? Did I apply any principles that they talk about? Absolutely not. Did I stay out of a relationship for the first year? Absolutely. I was tired of sucking dick, dude. And that's on God. I was tired. I was like, yeah, I miss me with it. I'm good. And so, my life became really good, really fast. I had toenails. I was like, oh shit, dog. And they said simple things. Get a sponsor, work some steps. Get a sponsor, work some steps. Go to meeting, do some service, I'm like, okay. And it was so simple compared to the getting and using and finding ways and means to get more, that I was like, all right, dog, I could do that. That's a reachable thing for me. And, I thought I was having a spiritual awakening with the first guy that I slept with, a year and some change into my recovery. And then I found out really quickly that he was sicker than me, but I was going to get him better. and I got pregnant with my son. And my heart couldn't pump for me and him, so it was a very stressful pregnancy, and he came early due to the stress that he was put under because my heart was messed up, you know? And I brought him home, 4 pounds, 4 ounces, found out immediately that I had postpartum depression. I didn't even know what that was. I could have went to a meeting, but was I really doing the things that were keeping me clean? I was just kind of living free from the drugs, but still acting out in every single character defect, still being the same exact person who walked through the doors, a liar. I'm fine. Everything's cool. You know what I'm saying? Lying my ass off, not calling my sponsor, not working those steps, not showing up to my commitment, dropping my commitments, all those things by the time I had my son, and I relapsed. I had a myotic brain aneurysm due to my IV drug use. I went and, from bed to bed, I actually overdosed with my 3-month-old baby in the back seat with a stranger I did not know. And my son was found in a hot car by himself, and he was removed from my custody. And by the time I had my brain aneurysm, because I was sick in a treatment center that did not believe I was sick, because I'm an addict, I'm a junkie. You're not sick. Sit the fuck down. And a golf ball sides vegetation broke off, went to my brain, and I needed 2 brain surgeries due to not picking up the phone and calling my sponsor, due to not going to a meeting and saying, I don't want my child. You know what I'm saying? And I had a mean relapse after I had to learn how to walk, talk, how to take care of a child disabled. Mean relapse. I got to 18 months clean, right, after having to find out that I had lost all function of the left side of my body because I chose to use. I'll just say, they say flaccid, and it was explained to me that it was a limp dick, the whole left side of my body. So I had to recover from that and get clean. The only people that showed up for me were people from a 12-step program. So if I died, I didn't die alone. And if I lived, I didn't wake up alone. You know what I'm saying? And that was, my son was he's 5 months when it happened. I got reunified with my son. By the time he was 10 months old, I had to learn how to walk, talk, all those things. Horrible experience. I'm not going to go into details, but you can get the image that because I used, I had destroyed my life. And I wasn't honest with anybody about that. Of course I had a sponsor. Of course I was going to meetings. I'm fine. Still lying asshole. I'm fine. Everything's cool, dog. Like, I'm straight, even though I had changed my whole entire life. My whole entire life. I could not live alone with my child because I was a fall risk. I couldn't, I had to have someone oversee me while I got custody of my child. So my whole life had changed. I had to learn how to drive again. I had to learn how to, be aware of the left side of my body. So my life had changed. But I'm telling everybody, I'm good, dog. You tripping. Yeah, that was no big deal.
So after the brain aneurysm, you said your entire left side was completely paralyzed, correct?
Yeah.
So the doctors, at that point, they never thought you'd walk again?
Yeah, they told me, they said, because of the amount of bleeding and how long my brain was suffocated, that I would never walk or I'd never be able to take care of my child. That's what they said to me. And DCF came in, caseworkers, because I could not show up to court. They said, hey, man, we can adopt your son out to look at you. You're fucking, you're disabled.
Crippled junkie.
Yeah, crippled junkie. Like, dude, your son will never know that you were his mom. We can give him a family that will love him. And that just flipped a switch in my soul. And I learned how to do it all.
How long did it take you?
To learn how to fucking do anything at all without falling between the toilet and the wall.
I would say at least where you were walking again.
About 7 months of everyday learning. Because if you don't move it, you're going to lose it.
Yeah, but you never gave up.
I never gave up, no.
So you're talking about the heart surgery. What caused the infection?
IV drug use. I would take the needle out of someone's arm. I would be like, oh, I don't give a fuck, your blood's still in it, dude. Let me get that thing because I got to go, okay? I was too quick for shoes. I didn't even have no shoes, dog. I didn't have no time for that. So I didn't have time to rinse out no rig. So I'm shooting other people's blood. I'm shooting puddle water. I'm finding dirty needles that are still sharp enough to inject my drug of choice. And that's how my heart
the blood
was
just became toxic. Well, septic at that point.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I had vegetation. It's horrible. And my mitral valve was gone. So I had a bioprosthetic valve put in.
Damn. So of course you got clean. You dated the first guy, had your child, relapsed. Then the relapse caused a stroke. Mm-hmm. Now you're in treatment. So did it stick this time?
No.
Okay.
No. You know, I learned how to, you know, walk, talk. You know, I suffered this huge life-changing ordeal. I'm lying. I'm like, you know, I go to my sponsor's house. I'm not understanding that there's principles to be lived. I'm just thinking I'm sharing with you a basic information about myself and how I feel about what I'm writing. It's deeper than that. I didn't understand that. And what do? After working a third step, talking with her, I relapsed. I clocked out of all, and I had a job, and I got hired. I was, because I was lying. I could put on a good mask. I'm all right. Look at this limp is not that bad. Like, just watch me for a second. I'll get there. You know what I'm saying? And, I was hired. I clocked out of all of my apps for work, clocked out of work, and I used. And I had worked a surface level third step that day. So, there's a big misconception about working steps, talking with your sponsor. There's principles to be lived. And, I didn't find that out until, my dad had said, like, some really profound shit to me. So I'm using, and my son's crying for me, like, and I'm using hardcore. I'm bad. And he can't even utter anything. He says, he's like, 2.5. He just wants me to pick him up. That's all. That is all. He's crying. There's snot coming out of his nose. He's like boo-hoo crying. My mom had got clean, and my dad had got clean after I got clean the first time, right? So I'm in their house, right? And my son is crying for me. And I knew he'd be all right. I'll leave him with my parents, I'll fuck him, right? And my dad said, turn around. I want you to fucking turn around and take a good look at your son. Because if you die tonight, your son is going to cry like that for you for the rest of his fucking life, Renee. And I still used. But it wasn't until I had a loaded gun in my mouth, and right when I was about to pull the trigger, I thought, if you fucking die tonight, Renee, your son is going to cry like that for you for the rest of his fucking life. And I got so scared of myself. And I got clean. But I got clean by going to a psych ward. Little short wires. I'm real close to the wall on the phone. And I asked my old sponsee sister if she would be willing to sponsor me. So I'm in there. They don't want to let me out because I'm a terrorist. I'm going to kill everybody and myself. I'm crazy out of my mind. Coming down from all the drugs. And my clean date is April 1st, 2020. So I got clean in the pandemic.
Which is crazy because that's for most people when their addiction went full force. And many people relapse during that time too.
Oh, yeah. And so I called my old sponsee sister. She's like, yeah, honor and a privilege. No problem. Got your back. She sends me literature, right? And I'm in the psych ward. So I'm in there with some crazy-ass people that kept on trying to steal my chair because something was telling them to take my chair. And I was sometimes swooped out of my chair, but that's besides the point. I was in there literally with myself, the God of my understanding, and literature. That's it. Completely isolated from the world and removed physically from the drugs. And I had to really actually work. And what I had missed, I had missed in, the 2 clean dates I had prior is that I didn't know that you were given spiritual principles to change your life. I was a undesirable kid. The system didn't want me. The schools didn't want me. The only people that really kept me was juvenile correction centers, you know what I'm saying? And when I was released from those, I still did not know how to live my life, you know? And that was just where I had to make a change.
Why are we challenging this fucking sniper?
I had to understand that everything had to change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And why couldn't I stay clean the 2 times before that? Well, someone said at a convention one time, 12-step convention, he said, I don't know, dog, like, I wasn't given that. I missed that day of school that everyone was given a book on how to live their life, you know? And I missed that day. And in the psych ward, I was given literature. And what I was reading, right, in an isolated state, and what I was experiencing on a spiritual level was that everything had to change. You know, I couldn't just say something that was written down over the psych ward phone to do my step work. Because I had said that shit numerous times before, and it didn't mean anything. Thing is that I was going to get a principle from that step, and I was going to apply it to my daily life, right? And by the way, you know, I was detoxing hard. I was detoxing, and I refused all detox medicine because I was addicted also to detox medicine, you know? So I'm on this long road of, like, you know, I'm kicking. I don't feel good. I'm in there with crazy people. The psych ward, little tiny phone. I had to have my face up close to the metal because the string was literally like, felt like 2 inches. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so I'm like, damn, man, you know, wow, I really got to change every single thing in my life. And 1, 2, 3, that's my foundation, right? And I'm like, wow, I get it. Like, this is for me to stand on, dog. Like, I know that I am powerless over these drugs. I need to surrender, okay? And I could be also, you know, powerless over many other things. But so, like, I'm like, okay. And then I had to, you know, trust in a higher power. Then be willing to turn my life over. Like, what? Like, okay, so 1, 2, and 3 when I'm powerless over something. 1, 2, and 3, okay? You just go ahead and take that from me because I can't handle that right now. That's my foundation, right?
And wait, before we go to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 12, talk about powerlessness. Y'all have not seen the shitstorm today's recording. So, me and Renee had the entire episode fucking recorded. I hit save, and my phone glitched, and it did not save a single thing. So I was like, fuck. So we were like, okay, let's re-record. 12 minutes into a second recording, microphone batteries die. And Holden don't got no motherfucking backups at home. So we had to take a small road trip up to the little drive-thru gas station up the street. So, and here I am. Okay, Renee has a lot more time than I do currently. And she has the basis of living these principles in her daily life. Me, I'm trying to apply them. I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm pissed. I'm like, something like this would cause me to be like, all right, I need some fucking vodka at this point. But Renee's like, you know what? It's cool. She's like, this gives us more time to bond. This gives us more time to know each other. And guess what? We had to re-record for a reason. So trust and believe this episode, this took some work to get together. But so... And we're powerless over the fact of batteries dying, phone glitching. I mean, those are things out of our control, and I cannot allow something so minuscule. The thing is, we can re-record today. We can record a week from now. Re-record. Something so small should not make me want to go and use or drink and get fucked up. It shouldn't cause so much anger because guess what? It's okay, and life will be okay, and life will continue to roll down. So okay. So enough about that powerlessness, because trust and believe, y'all, I just had to tell you about that. So continue, Renee.
So, you know, and then I'm like, okay, got me a little foundation. This little ratchet, hood rat chick, you know what I'm saying? face tattooed from here to Mars. You know what I'm talking about? I got me a foundation, and now I have a loving higher power that I understand. I'm turning my will, because my will ain't shit. My will is for me to die in the streets, a junkie and a whore. You know what I'm saying? That's just me and addiction. And so, you got 4 through 9. That's just the record your fucking past, right? You just, you're talking about, the resentments of why you have them, but really you have them because you had a part to play in it. So then you're owning your part to play in these things in the record of your past, where you find out you had survival techniques, right, that made you have character defects. Well, like, oh no, I'm this way because I've been treated this way, and has happened to me. It happened to me. It happened to me. You know what I'm saying? And then you have these character defects that are just there, right? But then you find out you got assets to them motherfuckers. Yeah, like, I'm not all bad, dog. You know what I'm saying? I could practice spiritual principles because that's what the asset is, right? And then, you clearing out. You telling people that you're sorry, telling people that, hey, man, I'm sorry. Making amends, right? Even if it's a living amends, if that person's no longer around, changing your life. And I was always a sorry-ass bitch. Oh, I'm sorry, and do the same motherfucking thing over again. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rob you, dog. Won't do it again, did it again. Oh, I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to, make you do drugs so I could rob you. I won't do it again. I was just savage. And, a horrible person, right? And I was always sorry without change. So then I found out that a sorry and an amends is an amends when you change, right? So boom. Then you got this beautiful step of the 10th step, because I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, yeah, I almost have 3 years clean, right? Okay, but I will show up to work with like, hey, man, we should all quit today, dog, type attitude. and be like that pressure. Like, hey, look, we all quit today. And then I go home and I'm like doing an inventory, because that's what 10 is. I'm just seeing what I did today. Was I bitch? Like, could I change anything? Can I be better? And then I clear it up. And I do better than I was yesterday. That's what 10 is. Doing better than I was the day before, right? Then you get to that 11. Right now you bonding. You out there bonding with your HP, higher power. You just out here. You know what I'm saying? And the God of your understanding, you're communicating with, and that you have like this connection with, right? And my higher power shows up in a drop top Benz sometimes, dog. I mean, always with me. Always with me. Like, the God of my understanding has my back, right? And through prayer and meditation, I've learned to understand that. Like, I'm never alone, okay? Even in that aspect, right? And then he gets to step 12, right? Dude, what a vibe. What a vibe, dude. Because, look, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of the steps, that means I've changed. I have a set of principles that could change the person that grew up incarcerated, that person that, would hurt other people just because I was a hurt person. You know what I'm saying? Being just like a terrible fucking person. Now I get to 12. 12, now I'm doing service. Now, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, hey, look, man, it can be done. We do recover. And then you do it all over again. You peel the onion. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of the 12 steps. Because I was never given that book, dude, on how to live my life. Then when I received it, I used it and applied it to my daily life. Like, yeah, people are like, oh, you look crazy. You look mean. Oh, I'll be like, I just look like this. Like, I just look like this. But really, like, let me get a hug, dog. Like, let me hug you. Let me love on you. And let me tell you that you never have to use again.
Let me tell you, Renee does give some bomb-ass hugs.
Oh, listen, I hug you like I'm never going to see you again.
Oh, I never thought about it that way.
You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever, lost anybody due to the disease?
I have not, actually. Well, technically my uncle due to heroin, but we were not that close during the time of his suicide.
So, all my friends are dead. All of them. I've been in the rooms for 9 years, and I don't give a fuck if I was using in the streets or if I got clean. All of my friends are dead. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I hug people like I'm never going to see them again. Because you know what? You never know. You never know. And if you just hug them tight enough, maybe that love will keep them here. You know what I'm saying? And it talks about that in our 12th step, right? The unconditional love is expressed in our attitude. Anyone, regardless of clean time, is you know, they're supposed to get our undivided attention. Our, like, you know, we're not supposed to judge them. We're not supposed to be like, oh, you did what? Like, bitch, I look at somebody like, you did it? Oh, I probably did that 10 times over. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to judge you. You know what I'm saying? This is with your safe place. You can't go to the grocery store and say, man, I shot a whole lot of crack, dog, back in the day. They're going to be like, ma'am, you need help. You look the part, you need help. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that anywhere else but in a meeting.
That is very true.
So I hold people, man. I hold people and I love on them and I accept them because I was never wanted. I was the undesirable. I was never picked. You know what I'm saying? So when I hold people, it does for me the same as it does for others, you know? Because I just was never that chick.
So do you think, as you said, that you had 2 other clean dates? So compared to this final clean date, or hoping final, one day at a time, is the fact of this is the only time that you are actually applying the principles in your daily life rather than just knowing the principles?
Oh, absolutely. So, like, you know, I've been, on paper, I'm disabled. Like, on a scan of my brain, I'm fucking disabled. But through constant work on myself physically and doing, you know, using my other hand and, you know, walking and playing with my son, right? I'm capable. So I've been working at the same job for 2 years, right? When they decided to shred the company, right? And this is just like, cause I know me. I grew up incarcerated. Look, I am that bitch. All right. You know what I'm saying? Past experiences showed me that way of thinking, that way of living did not work for me. So when they shredded the company, they're like, hey, we're going to fire 85% of the staff, dog. You guys can kick rocks, right? They kept me. They kept me with my deficits, my limp, you know, my face tattoos. Okay, they kept me because I show up as the person God intended me to, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I could be that bitch that is like reliable, accountable, you know, friendly, sweet, loving, you know, to other people, right? My job wants me around. But see, if I didn't have those principles, I wouldn't be that person, right? My son didn't know me, okay? At that time, you know, one point he was like, I want you to hold me, Mom. And I was like, yeah, go for it. It took a lot of work during the quarantine for this little child, this little human, to know that I wasn't going to hurt him, leave him, you know, scare him, put him in harm's way. It took a lot of work. And if I didn't have those principles, right, to live that way, my child wouldn't be my best friend. He wouldn't want to ride out with me to every single meeting and participate in every single, you know, thing that I'm involved in because I'm, you know, merchandise chair for my area's convention. Merchandise, buy your shirts, hey. And then, you know, I'm also, you know, been a home group member at the same place for almost 3 years. Right, he comes to every home group meeting with me. Aww. You know, and mothers do recover here, dude. You could bring your jit to anything, and just as long as you make them comfortable and you make them understand that this is why I can be a mom to you, dude, they're with it. They're like, oh man, I love you this way. I want more of this person. So he joins me in every activity, anything that involves the 12-step, he's with me.
There was, I was at a meeting, God, it's probably been like 2 weeks ago. A woman brought her child, and I would say he was probably like 7 or 8 years old. And he read one of the readings at the end of the meeting. I think it was We Do Recover. And oh my God, like you could tell everybody's heartstrings were being pulled in that moment because you could see, like, even though he may not fully comprehend everything that's going on with his mom, that he's still there for her. And that he knows that unless that he could pull her out of the meetings. He could say, no, Mommy, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And she's forced to stay home because maybe no babysitter, nobody to take care of that child. But, like, that child being so happy to be at the meeting, knowing people at the fellowship, going around talking to people, giving hugs, and doing that reading is like, that allows his mother to recover and be the mother to him that he deserves in this life. So before we come to a close, I just want to backtrack slightly. So you said your parents were both using.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to share also the fact of that they're now clean.
Yeah, so, my parents used my whole life. They didn't get clean until I got clean. And, my mom was in insanity. Coming to my halfway with staples in her head, shaved head. I'm like, dude, you can't come around me because you're using. She said, well, that's not fair, Renee. I said, well, get clean. My mom got clean. A year later, my dad got clean because it's attractive. Oh, my mom's not living in, 5-foot containers of alcohol all over the room and all sorts of other stuff. My dad was like, wow. And if it's working for my junkie daughter that had no toenails, wow. You know what I'm saying? My dad got clean when I had 18 months. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow. And it just amazes me. And they stayed clean through all my relapses. And I'm so grateful for that because, my child probably would have been put in more harm's way when I was using. So my mom's been clean 9 years. And my dad's been clean, I think, almost 8. About to be 8, Yeah, because we do recover, dog. And when you put the recover, it's like you're not recovered, right? But you're recovering from a hopeless state of mind, And my parents are accountable people. It's like, what the fuck? Well, bitch, you weren't like that when I was a jit, dog.
But at least they're here and accountable now for that grandchild that they probably adore and probably spoil the shit out of.
Oh, of course, And if it wasn't for the attraction and me being like, hey, look, dude, my life is good right now. You're not gonna come up in here wrecking my life because you want to use and still have me around. Like I'm in a whole different city than you. That's just, let's make that clear. And I'm grateful that they're clean and I'm clean, and that no addict seeking recovery need ever die to the horrors of addiction.
Yes, but all you have to do, the number one, is ask for help.
Yes.
You must seek out the help in order to get the recovery started. So before we end the episode, if anybody resonated with your story and wants to reach out to you, where can they find you?
They can find me, if you want to hit me up on Instagram or follow me on Instagram. My Instagram name is SaddDrip, SADD_DRIPP. And my Facebook is Renee Corbeau, RENEE, last name CORRI, V as in Victor, EAU.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Renee, for joining us today, and I hope you have an incredible rest of your day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you again for listening to today's episode. Hit that follow button to be notified about new episodes every week. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us on Instagram at The Sober Unicorn Podcast or on our website at thesoberunicornpodcast.com. There you will find our episodes as well as our very own sober-owned shop featuring products from small businesses that are sober-owned. And remember, everyone, don't be normal, be a unicorn, but better yet, be a sober unicorn.